Hi everyone, Karen here, and I'm ready to take another look at Craftaganza at Home class number 4. And this is the embossing folder that was from the class. Now, I tried a couple things here, and I tried it once on light card and one on dark card. And I decided I liked the light card better. So what we're going to do is we're going to emboss it, we're going to ink over the top, and then we're going to color it in. And this is all on Centura Pearl, so it is going to be a much shinier card. Now, I'm going to make it as a Z-fold card. So that means you start off with a piece of paper that is 10 by 7, scored at 2.5 and at 5, fold it over to make your Z-fold. I have a 5 by 7 in black, which I did emboss with this steel floor embossing folder. And I just thought it looked a little plain and it just looked a little nicer once I embossed it. I have a 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 of the mint green. I have a 4 by 6 of the, I think it's called copper, and I have a 3 3/4 by 5 3/4 of the white. Now, and I have a happy birthday, and for the inside of the card, I have wishing you a birthday that's just as incredible as you are. Enjoy your day, and that is a 3 1/4 by 5 1/4, and it's going to go on a 3 1/2 by 5 1/2. All right, so let me scoot this over here. And let's get going with this. So I'm going to be using the MIDI today to do all the embossing. Alright, so I want to start off with this green card that's going to go on the inside of the card. And I'm just going to emboss this with the same embossing folder that I used on the front of the card. So I'm just going to put this on here. Now this is a 2D folder, so I am going to run this through like this. And I'm going to run it through slowly. Since it is Centura Pearl, I want to give the card a chance to emboss without buckling or without tearing or anything else. So if you have paper that's a little more delicate, you can always just do it slowly in a manual machine, and then it just comes out perfectly fine. Alright, so this will be the inside of our card. That is all set. Now for the outside of the card, I'm going to take the white card here, which is 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. But I'm only going to emboss the top and the bottom, like I did here. And what I did is this is a 4 by 6 embossing folder. So I found the halfway mark, which is at 3 inches. And I'm just going to take this, make sure I'm putting it in the right side here. Now I am going to line this up right on that line. Here we go, just like that. I'm going to close this up. I'm going to hold this on the shim because this is also a 2D folder. And I am going to slowly emboss it. Once again, this is Centura Pearl, and I don't want it to crack. There we go. So now I've embossed, let's see here. There we go, now you can see it. So now I've embossed the top. So I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom. I'm going to go up to the 3-inch mark, line it up, make sure that stays at 3 inches, lay it on the shim, and put it through. Nice and slow. Give the paper time to do what you want it to do. Here we go. Let me move this out of the way. Alright, so now we have this embossed on the top and the bottom. Alright, now I'm going to grab another mat here because this is going to be a little messy. Put the non-shiny side down. Now I'm going to start off with a brayer. Now if you have a smaller brayer, it will work better. And I mean smaller, I mean shorter. This one's a little big, but I am going to make it work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink over the top of this. Now you can do this with a dauber, but it does give you a nice smooth effect when you use a brayer. Now you do want to make sure your paper is flat. It's very important because we're going to ink this up And I'm going to hold this to where I know it's pressing down hard against this table surface. And I am going to lightly go across. You are going to get a couple little stray lines, but that's fine. A little bit darker. Like that. Now it does take this a moment to dry on the Centura Pearl. So you can go back and kind of blend it in. Now once we finish blending the top of it, any black marks you have will just blend right in and they won't be that noticeable. As you can see, you have a minute there. Alright, so now I'm going to do the other side. Ink this up again. I'll hold this down because I want to make sure this is nice and flat against the table. And I'm going to go across. Very lightly. Get a little more ink. Do this top part. There we go. Now I'm going to take my cloth, wipe the marks so they blend. There we go. Move all this out of the way. Alright, so now I'm going to color this. So I just have a pink that I'm going to color the flowers. And now that this is embossed, this kind of goes kind of quickly because there is an edge there and you don't have to be that fussy about it. Now I will say on the Centura Pearl, because this is an alcohol marker, you're going to want to put one coat on, let it dry a little bit, and then you can go back and put a little shading in there. So just go really quick. There we go. Do the leaves up here. Just keep going. One more leaf over, one more petal over here, I should say. All right, and this is our last petal. Now this down here, I did catch a little bit of this next flower down, so make sure you color that. All right, now we'll do the other side. Like I said, you don't have to be too fussy about this. You just want to get some color down there. Yeah, because when you color in embossed images, it makes it really easy because that raised edge really does help keep the color where you want it. It makes it very fast. Now there is a bud, so let me color the bud. I think I forgot the bud on this side. There we go. Let's see, here's all of that. So now we can come back, now that this other side is dry, and where the lines are, I can just put a little bit more color. Now if you're using your tri-blends, you can just go down a color. And put a little more color right here. So anywhere there's lines, you can just put a little more color in there. So you end up with this. There we go. So now we just have the petals, which I have this lighter green because that's where this green I thought was just a little too dark. So I'm going to go with this lighter green here. And I'm going to do the same thing. Color very quickly. And just keep going. There's a little leaf hiding over there. There's a leaf down here. There's a stem. And this would work with any kind of embossing folder you have. You don't have to emboss the whole entire page. You could, if you were using a bigger machine, you could even do the corners. Yeah, we're almost finished. There we go. Now this is dried a little bit, so I can come back and I'm just going to put a couple little streaks here and there in the leaves just to give it a little shading. There we go. Easy peasy. Now, I do want to bring in this red, and I also have this pink. So on this one, I used the red. But I think on this time around, I'm going to use the satin rose and see how different it looks. So I'm going to ink this up. Let me bring my mat back. And I'm just going to very lightly go around the edge. Just give it a little bit of color. Little in the corners. A little over here. Just to give it a little something. There, let's see. So there's the difference between the red and the pink and the rose satin. Okay. So now let's bring this in. Now we have our happy birthday, which is going to go here, like this. Let me grab the glue. And my tweezers, so I can do this without getting my fingers in all the glue. And we're going to dab some glue on here, then I'm going to spread it out. Dab, dab, dab. Now let's see here. If I have this here, I want to put the happy about here. Right, I'm going to pick up the birthday, do the same thing. Glue. This is just tacky glue. All right, and we'll put down the birthday. So I'm looking at this space here and this space over here. I want that to be the same. So I want the Y about there. And there we go. Happy birthday. Here we go. So now it's just time to layer everything up. So once again, this was the 3 3/4 by 5 3/4, and that's going to go on a 4 by 6 like this. This will just be in the middle. This grabs pretty quickly, so let me get this centered. All right. That looks pretty good. Now this I want to put up on foam. All right, so here is 1/16 foam that is a 1/2 inch wide. So I'm just going to put some strips across the back here. This card is pretty sturdy with the 2 layers of Centera Pearl. And we'll put that one there. Now this layer is going to go on the green. This is the mint green. I turn this sideways so I can see it a little better. And get that lined up. Press down. So now I have the black card, which I think I'm just going to go straight on. I don't think that needs any more foam. So this is the 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, and this is going to go on the 5 by 7. That was embossed with the same embossing folder that I used on the inside. There we go. Now this is going to get glued to here, but first I think I want to put the inside in. Now what I want to decide is if this needs anything more, because that looks a little plain. I think I want to tie in the black. So I'm going to bring in the Quick Dry Jet Black, and I am just going to dab around the outside of this card. And once again, this was the 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. I'm just going to dab all 4 sides. to make sure, I'm going to run my finger across it, make sure everything's all dry, and we're all good. Now we're going to glue this down. Alright, so this will go in the middle. And see, that little line really does add something. Here we go. Now this will go to the middle of the card. Alright, we'll bring in the card base, which is a Z-fold. And this will go in the middle. Like that. Okay. Now I'll put glue all on this first flap here. That's the only part that's going to get attached. Alright, now to make sure this is all lined up, I want this to be flush with this side of the card. So I'm going to hold it with the sides of my hands and tap it against the table to make sure it's all nice and flush. And give it a good press down. So I have some gems. I'm thinking I may put one here, and one down here. And I'm thinking the little ones. And we'll take another one up here. And we'll put a bigger one here. I'm going to put a medium-sized one over here. There we go. And we are finished. Another look at class number 4 from Craftaganza at Home. If you like this card, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. And until next time, stay crafty.